child of deaf adult, often known by the acronym CODA, is a person who was raised by one or more deaf parents or guardians, which serves as a resource and a center of community for children of the deaf, and has access to sign language, bicultural, and identifying with both deaf and hearing cultures. CODAs must navigate the border between the deaf and hearing worlds, serving as a liaison between their deaf parents and the hearing world in which they reside. 90% of children born to deaf adults can hear normally, resulting in a significant and widespread community of CODAs around the world.
So growing up, you knew you had deaf parents. When you would go into school, soccer, what would people do when they realized you had deaf parents?
Like, what? What are some bad words? Which kind of sucks, but and they'd be asking, do they know how to drive? Even though you don't need your ears to drive, so that's like inconsiderate. But other than that, that was it.
Like, what questions would they ask? Like, what do your parents do? Like, how do they communicate? How do they...
They're very surprised with the jobs they have and that they drive. And it's like...
Like, they ask if they could drive?
Yeah, they ask if they can drive. They don't ask that anymore.
Like when we were younger?
They mostly ask how I'm not deaf.
Oh, yeah.
That's my favorite one.
So altogether, there's 4 of you. You guys have 2 older brothers, and then obviously you guys are twins. Which one out of the 4 of you would interpret for your parents?
It's always her. I don't like to talk much, so I let her do the interpret.
Yeah, anywhere we'd go, like the doctor or to a restaurant or if someone was praying, I was always interpreting for my parents all the time.
Were people, like, make comments, or would they just look? How would people view you as a child with deaf parents?
The same.
View you the same?
Yeah. They would just ask a lot of questions about how they hear. And they talk to them like they're dumb.
Yeah.
You
Like
know?
how? How do they talk to them?
They're like, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Like, no, they can't. They can't hear you.
Kids would do that?
Yeah.
What are some of the benefits of being a CODA?
You have a second language you can go to that you can communicate with somebody else who knows it in public and kind of have your conversation be discreet. You know, you can talk about things you usually talk about, you can joke, you can kind of play on the situation. Most people with a second language still have to verbally say it, so it's kind of cool having something that's a language that's built on gestures and facial expressions. It's an interesting thing to be able to do in public.
And then what were mornings like for you, Brenton?
Mornings, since my parents don't know how loud they're being, it's always like I'm trying to sleep and then they're vacuuming or throwing dishes around or shutting doors, dropping the toilet seat, waking us up.
So what was it like having one deaf parent and one hearing parent growing up?
I guess I didn't really think about it that much, except for, you know, with the deaf parent, we could get away with a lot more, especially if it was like just my dad at home. Me and my sister, you know, could be as loud as we wanted to. We could, you know, do things that we weren't supposed to, play loud music, different things like that. But then when my mom was home, she's hearing, so things kind of shifted a little when she was home.
So your family is interesting. You have your mom's side, who has 7 siblings in total, but 3, including your mom, are deaf. How is that dynamic?
Growing up, you were closer to the deaf side of your family than you were to your hearing, because when you go out and do vacations and stuff, you would talk more with them and make your parents and everything feel more included than being with the hearing side of your family that doesn't include ASL or anything, trying to get to know or talk to them. So we were always closer to the deaf side.
Does the hearing side know American Sign Language?
Just a little here and there.
Like a little bit, like gestures and stuff like that?
Gestures and using their mouth.
And they're Hispanic, right?
Yeah.
So do they speak Spanish
Yeah.
while they're all together?
Yeah.
And
They
then
speak Spanish, they speak ASL, and then they prefer to...
When they're talking to each other, do they use English?
Yeah.
English. So they have like that, like Spanish.
Yeah, they have a Spanish side, then they have the English to
like
put
connect
it
them
together, and then we have the ASL, but they don't like to meet in the middle.
So when was the first time you realized you were a CODA?
I first realized I was a CODA when I would visit other friends' houses and they'd have hearing parents and the environments would be very different compared to my house.
So when have you identified, like, I am a CODA, this is my identity? If so, when was that?
Yeah, shortly after high school, I got invited to a CODA camp where everyone there was actually a CODA, and there was tons of signing going on, and it helped me improve all my skills with signing, and therefore understand the deaf community a lot more. So very thankful for that, and that's where I identified as a CODA.
So did you learn American Sign Language right when you could, before
Yes,
English?
yeah. So it was actually my first language. Same with my sister. So my parents decided, I actually just found out that they decided that they would sign with us only until we started kind of babbling in sign and like our first words and first phrases in sign. And then my mom kind of turned on her voice sometimes at home, but we got English through our family and things like that because my dad's the only one who's deaf in our entire family. So we got English through, friends, family, and outside exposure like school and stuff.
Well, CODA Camp is a camp that I do in the summers. I've done it for going on my 5th year, and I counsel young kids from 8 to 16, and basically it's a regular summer camp that most people would go to, but everybody there, including the people who work for it, are all hearing but with deaf parents.
How does it affect each personality? Do they affect all the same, different?
No, but I'd say CODA kids are more likely to be charismatic and visual and quick to observe and make decisions based on, like, one thing that people tell me is that I pick up on small details very well, and I'd like to think that's because I've been so visually focused my whole life with communication being through the eyes.
I was born into a language that's beautiful, that's not just linear, that's 3D space, that you use more than just your tone of voice, it's expressions, it's everything. And I'm so blessed that, one, that was my first language, and two, I got a whole new culture that's not like everyone else's experiences. And so I didn't really recognize that until I started studying it more in college, and I come back home and I tell my parents everything that I learned, how excited I am to learn everything about who they are because they're my parents, and so many things that I didn't recognize as a kid.
Being a CODA is important to me because you're part of a community and it's very unique, and only people who are actually part of it understand it.
To me, being a CODA is about family. It's not just the immediate family that you're born into, like your deaf parents, for example, or deaf siblings, but it's about every single CODA or deaf person that you encounter instantly becomes your family for the rest of your life. You grow a bond with them that matters, and nobody else can understand but them.
For me, being a CODA is being the connection between my deaf parents and the hearing community. I do wish one day that we could bridge the gap between the two, but for now, I am happy to be part of this amazing community, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Great.